Hello, English learners. Welcome to episode 48. Before we start, please hit that subscribe button and give us a like. It really helps us create more lessons for you.
Yes, please subscribe. Today, I have a crazy story to tell. It was a day of disasters.
Oh, no. But perfect for our grammar topic, when versus while. Listeners, today I want you to use the pause, write, repeat method. When you hear a new phrase, pause the audio, write it down, and repeat it out loud.
You are really going to need it today because my day was just a complete series of unfortunate events. Everything that could go wrong went wrong.
I am so sorry to hear that. But, from a linguistic perspective, your terrible day is actually the perfect deep dive for us.
Oh, great. My misery is a grammar lesson.
Exactly. Because what we have in front of us today is a stack of sources that act like a guide to English grammar. It teaches us the exact structure of how to talk about a terrible day.
Right, the mechanics of complaining.
I prefer to call it the architecture of an interruption. Today, our mission is to unpack these specific grammatical gears. The past continuous tense, the past simple tense, and those two tiny tricky pivot words, when and while.
They seem simple, but they totally control the traffic of a sentence.
They really do. And we are going to break all of that down. We're going to learn the vocabulary of chaos, look at a very specific visual metaphor to understand the grammar, and then, we're going to analyze your terrible day as our main case study.
I guess I'm ready to share my trauma.
Let's start with the basics first. Before we even get to the grammar, our sources outline the foundational vocabulary, the words we use when things go wrong.
Right. Words like interruption, accident, suddenly, bad luck.
And the verbs, these are so descriptive. To slip, to drop, to break, to crash.
Just hearing those words makes me stressed out.
Well, let's look at them. To slip, to drop, to break, to crash. They all have this feeling of sudden, irreversible momentum, don't they?
Yeah, they do. I mean, once you drop something, gravity just takes over. You cannot undrop a glass.
Precisely. And in English, the way we pronounce these words adds to that feeling, especially in the past tense. Remember, listeners, we want to speak slowly and clearly today. Let's look at the past tense of drop. It is dropped.
Dropped, with that sharp T sound at the end.
Yes, exactly. It is a stop T or a hard ED sound. Dropped, slipped, crashed. The sound itself is abrupt. It physically stops the air in your mouth.
Which perfectly matches the meaning of the word. An accident is an abrupt stop. It is a massive spike in cognitive load for your brain.
It is a shock. But if you just list those facts to a friend, it doesn't really sound like a story. If you say, I dropped a cup, it broke, there is no emotional impact.
Right, it is just data. Our sources point out that to tell a real story, you need the logic of contrast. You need to show the difference between setting the scene and the main event.
Setting the scene versus the main event. This is the core of our deep dive today. Let's explore that visual metaphor from the text because it is brilliant for understanding this logic.
Oh, the wavy line and the cuts. This really helped me understand my own bad luck today.
So, listeners, I want you to imagine a long, continuous, wavy line drawn across a piece of paper, like waves on the ocean.
That long wavy line represents your background action, setting the scene.
Yes. Grammatically, this is the past continuous tense. It is an action that takes a long time. It was happening in the background, like I was sleeping.
Or I was walking.
Exactly. I love how you stretched out that ing sound. That ing ending is the sound of duration in English. It means the action is ongoing. It is that smooth, wavy line.
You feel calm. You feel like the action is just going to continue forever.
But then, picture that smooth, wavy line being violently cut by a sharp X. A sudden, sharp cut right through the middle of the wave.
That X is the main event, the accident, the interruption.
Grammatically, this is the past simple tense. It is punctual. It happens in one instant.
So I was walking when I fell.
Boom. The sharp cut fell. The action stops instantly.
Our brains really need that contrast. We need that baseline of normalcy, the wavy line, to actually feel the shock of the interruption.
Right. If a movie director wants to scare you, they do not just show a monster jumping out immediately. They show a long, quiet shot of an empty hallway first.
The wavy line.
Yes, the long action. They make you comfortable. And then suddenly, the monster jumps out.
The sharp X.
Exactly. To build that contrast in everyday English storytelling, we use those two traffic directors we mentioned earlier, when and while.
These two tiny words are so important. They signal to the listener's brain exactly what kind of time they are entering.
Let's look at the strict rules provided in our sources. Rule number 1, while must be paired with the long action.
The wavy line.
Yes. For example, while I was cooking, I cut my finger.
When you say while, you open up a wide window of time. You tell the listener to settle in. You are saying, hey, this took a long time. Picture me in the kitchen. Here are the onions frying.
You are painting the background. And notice the ing again. While I was cooking. Long action.
But then we have rule number 2. The word when must be paired with the short action, the sudden event.
The sharp X. So the other way to say it is, I was cooking when I cut my finger.
When action acts as a pinpoint on a timeline, it doesn't stretch out like while, it strikes.
It is a laser focus. And the sources highlight a really cool trick here. They call it the flip rule.
The flip rule, I like this. It means you can invert the structure of the sentence and the meaning stays exactly the same.
Right. You can say, the phone rang while I was sleeping.
By flipping it, you change the suspense. If you are telling a story at a dinner party, you might want to shock people right away, so you lead with the interruption.
You would say, the kitchen caught on fire.
Everyone gasps. You have their attention, and then you add the background. While I was cooking dinner?
Or you can build the suspense slowly. I was just cooking dinner, enjoying a glass of wine, listening to music.
Making them wait for it.
When suddenly, the kitchen caught on fire. It's just a slight structural flip, but it totally changes the impact of the story.
It gives you control over the chaos. Speaking of chaos, I think it is time for my story.
I think so too. Okay, listeners, get your pens ready. Remember, pause, write, repeat. Here's the story. Tell us about your morning. Let's trace this relentless series of unfortunate events.
Relentless is the right word. Okay, so it started first thing in the morning. While I was taking a shower, the water suddenly stopped.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was cold and wet and angry.
So let's analyze that first sentence. Listeners, did you hear the structure? While I was taking a shower, the water suddenly stopped.
The long action was taking a shower. The wavy line.
Paired perfectly with while. And then the sharp cut. The water stopped. Listen to that hard P sound at the end of stopped. It is sudden.
It was a complete system failure. I had no control over the water.
So you are already cold and frustrated. What happened next?
Well, I needed caffeine to deal with the stress, but while I was making coffee in the kitchen, I dropped the cup. Smash. Coffee was everywhere.
Oh no, not the coffee.
Ugh, yes. It was a disaster.
Again, perfect grammatical structure, even though it was a terrible moment. While I was making coffee, the long ing action, I dropped the cup. The sharp ed interruption.
This one felt worse because it was a physical accident. It wasn't the building's fault this time. My own hands betrayed me.
And dropping a coffee cup is the definition of irreversible momentum. Smash. Coffee everywhere.
My stress levels were definitely spiking. But I tried to stay positive. I tried to be productive and get to work.
A noble effort. Did it work?
No, it did not. I was trying to work. And while I was recording our podcast...
Wait, while you were recording?
Yes, I was trying to do some solo recording. And then boom, boom, boom.
Oh, do not tell me.
Oh, yes. Then neighbors started playing the drums. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, no, not again.
That is just cruel.
It really was. The grammar rule is the exact same. While I was recording, the neighbors started playing drums. But cognitively, this was an external intrusion.
Yes, recording a podcast is an action that requires intense focus. It is a very fragile background state.
Very fragile. And the drums just shattered it. I was completely beaten down by the universe at this point. I gave up.
I do not blame you. What did you do?
I decided to just go back to bed and restart the day.
A solid plan.
You would think so. But when I closed my eyes to sleep, the alarm clock rang.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that is the ultimate tragic ending.
It really was.
Let's look at the grammar there, because the sources point out something fascinating about this final escalation. In the first 3 disasters, you used while.
Right, while taking a shower, while making coffee, while recording.
That let us settle into the duration. But for the final disaster, you flipped it. You used when. When I closed my eyes, the alarm clock rang.
It really changes the pacing, doesn't it?
It does. Because when is a pinpoint. You did not even get the luxury of a wavy line. You did not get to say, while I was sleeping?
No, because I didn't actually get to sleep. The very second I tried to start the background action, time itself interrupted me. The new day started.
It is the ultimate cosmic joke.
Yeah.
And honestly, it creates a very distinct comedic pacing when you tell it.
I am glad my suffering is entertaining.
It is educational. If a learner uses the pause, write, repeat method on your story, they're going to build incredible muscle memory.
They will learn how to properly structure a venting session.
Exactly. They will learn the rhythm of complaint. But Thankfully, our sources do not just leave us in this state of constant chaos.
No, they introduce an advanced concept, a much happier one.
Yes, the advanced state of peace. After all those interruptions, this grammar feels like a deep breath. We are talking about parallel actions.
Parallel actions. This is when two long actions are happening at the exact same time.
And crucially, there are no interruptions.
Zero, none, no sharp cuts.
The example from the text is so simple and nice. While I was reading, and it was working.
So we have two long actions. Both are in the past continuous tense, was reading, was working.
Two wavy lines.
Exactly. If we go back to our visual metaphor, there is no sharp X cutting through the waves. It is just two wavy lines running perfectly parallel to each other.
They coexist in harmony. They do not collide.
It is a profound shift in the tone of the story. Earlier, we were dealing with conflict, friction. But this parallel structure is all about shared space.
It is how you describe a state of flow. Or a really peaceful environment, like while it was raining outside, we were drinking tea.
By removing the past simple tense completely, you remove the danger. You are telling your listener, relax, there's no jump scare coming, nobody is dropping a coffee cup.
It is ambient storytelling. I love that.
Yeah.
But we have to admit, life is not always parallel lines. The interruptions always come back.
They do, which is why the sources give us a way to synthesize everything we've learned today into a practical exercise.
The interruption game.
Yes, the interruption game. It is a real-time synthesis of the vocabulary of chaos and the grammar of when and while.
It is so interactive. Let's play right now to show our listeners how dynamic it can be.
Let's do it. I will establish the long action, and you interrupt me with the short action.
Perfect. Round one. Let's go.
Okay. I was walking in the park.
When it started to rain.
All right, so I have to bridge them. I was walking in the park when it started to rain.
Excellent. Textbook application.
Mm-hmm.
You took the long, vulnerable action of walking outdoors, and I interrupted it with a sudden environmental shift.
And I linked them perfectly with the pinpoint marker, when.
Now, round two. This time, we introduced the flip rule. I want you to try leading with the interruption in your synthesis. Start your long action.
Okay. I was eating pizza.
The phone rang.
Right. So, applying the flip rule. The phone rang while I was eating pizza.
You got it. You
Yeah.
dynamically framed the sudden event with the wide window of while.
This game is really smart because it gives you a rigid framework, but the content is totally variable.
Once you internalize this structure, you can swap in any daily activity. It automates your ability to tell a story with suspense.
Let's do round three. This one in the text is my favorite because it is, well, it's a bit different.
It's much more abstract. Go ahead. Set up the long action.
I was telling a joke.
Nobody
Yeah.
ouch.
Nobody laughed while I was telling a joke. That is sad.
It is very sad. The text even adds that little note. That is sad. But cognitively, this is fascinating.
It is, because the interruption isn't a loud noise. It isn't a dropped cup or a ringing phone.
It is a silence. It is the absence of an event.
But structurally, it cuts through the wavy line just as violently as a car crash.
Absolutely. Telling a joke is a high-wire act. You are building up a background state of social tension, and the interruption is just dead silence.
It proves that English grammar doesn't care if the accident is physical or emotional. The structure of the interruption is exactly the same.
It governs a bruised ego just as strictly as a broken glass. And I think that is the real takeaway here. When we practice these structures, we aren't just memorizing verb tenses.
We are organizing the chaos of our lives.
Yes. We take the unpredictable, embarrassing, frustrating moments, and we put them into an architecture we can control.
We take the sting out of the bad luck by mastering how to tell the story of it. It gives you agency over your own experiences.
Which brings us to our final synthesis. Today, we looked at the raw vocabulary of chaos. Slipped, dropped, broke, crash.
We explored the cognitive psychology of the long wavy line and the sharp cut, why our brains need that baseline of normalcy.
We saw how when and while act as temporal traffic directors.
We analyzed my incredibly sad morning to see the relentless pacing of cascading disasters.
We took a deep breath with the parallel actions of the advanced state of peace.
And we played the interruption game to prove that these templates are the true DNA of conversational storytelling.
You, listening to this, now have the tools. You can deliberately decide how you want to frame your day. Do you want to emphasize the sudden tragedy, build suspense, or paint a picture of parallel peace.
And as we wrap up, I want to leave you with a slightly provocative thought based on all of this.
Oh, a provocative thought. I like it. Let's hear it.
We have spent this entire episode seeing how the English language is meticulously designed to frame long, peaceful moments purely as setups for negative interruptions.
That is true. The background state mostly exists just to be disrupted.
So, think about linguistic relativity. How does the grammar we are forced to use actually shape our memory of the events?
It is heavy.
If we always describe our past by highlighting the collision, the bad luck, the failed joke, does our language subtly train us to view peace as nothing more than a tense waiting period?
Are we just waiting for the next disaster?
Exactly. Does the structure of when and while condition our nervous systems to always expect the sharp cut?
That is an unsettling realization.
So, my challenge to you today, pay close attention to the wavy lines and sharp cuts in your own thoughts. Are you allowing the parallel actions of your life to simply exist? Or are you unconsciously just waiting for the alarm clock to ring?
Wow. That is a profound thought to sit with, and a very good reason to practice using those parallel actions a bit more deliberately in our daily lives.
Definitely. Look for the parallel lines today.
Great job today, everyone. Don't forget to share this episode with your friends who are learning English. See you next time.
See you next time.